go. Hello.
Hi. Hey,
Hi.
Courtney. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Oh, my screen just, oh, there we are again. I lost it. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm getting pumped for the weekend. Crossing off all my to-do list, preparing, getting ready.
For if people don't know.
Oh, right. Yes. This weekend, we will be, the Ferndale and several surrounding cities will be putting together an event called the Backyard Art Fair. It's going to be this Saturday, September 26th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. It'll be spread out amongst several different artists venues, whether it be like they'll be showcasing in like personal studios, garages, driveways, yards, backyards. And I myself will be hosting in my backyard with several of my favorite talented people and makers. Courtney will be there with Art of ZODIAC. Kamajomi, wood burning expertise, Ken and Nicole Apothecary, amazing stuff, and we'll also have Stacy, who makes handmade face masks, and Katie Bramlage, who's a local ceramicist. You normally find her at the Rust Belt, but we'll be lucky enough to have her there with us this Saturday. I love her stuff. Beautiful ceramics. So.
Oh, was she at the last one?
She was not. Unfortunately, she couldn't join us, but she will be here this time.
Oh man, this is exciting. So this has been a pivot from business as usual. You've been doing this fair for a few years now. Do you want to tell me a little bit about your history and what this means to you? Because I know it's...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. DIY street fair is typically held this time of year. It's somewhere usually falls in between last weekend and this weekend. And unfortunately, this would have been, I believe, my 9th or 10th year participating. So yeah, it's definitely played a huge part in my life. It's one of the biggest weekends of my life every year after year, and I really look forward to it. It's my favorite show. I love being located in downtown Ferndale. I get to see so many of my favorite people and friends. It's always just a great vibe and a great collection of artists. It's a great place to find new people, new artists, new work, but also there's just a collection of constant standbys that you can always find and rely on to be a DIY. And it's one of the better parts of the culture that Ferndale, I think, has to offer. So anyway, I could go on and on about how much I love it, but unfortunately it couldn't happen this year. And a few of us were just, it was a process it was quite a thing to process. A lot of us were pretty heartbroken. And a few of us artists took it amongst ourselves to kind of collaborate and reach out to each other. I myself reached out to two of the women that I know that have a high regard and people really look up to in this, in this artist realm. Carrie Gustafsson of Glass Action. She played a huge role in actually starting that show years back, and she's one of the head ladies at Handmade Detroit. She puts together a Detroit Urban Craft Fair. Anyway, it was those ladies, her and Kelly Katz from Katz Ceramics, they put this together. Oh. And we wanted to try and facilitate a way to recreate the magic of DIY street fair and just in general, all the outdoor fairs that artists like us typically do throughout the warm season. Kind of a last hurrah and try and recreate the magic of those events. So we put together a map and some shopping guidelines, COVID appropriate. And like I said, artists will be showcasing in their studios and backyards, etc. And we didn't really know how it would turn out. We started putting this together, I don't know, in August or something. But sure enough, there's been a lot of buzz, and I think there's a lot of people eager to participate in events like this. We had a small version of this. We were able to go on the news and promote it, which was pretty fun. So I have a really good feeling this is going to play out well for us, and just a nice opportunity for people to, whether you're an artist or an avid admirer of work, you'll be able to kind of get a taste of like what we were so accustomed to enjoying. Like I said, the magic of like outdoor events like that. I hope that next year we can do a DIY. But I think it'll really turn out nicely.
Well, this fair seems especially important to you because would you say that in some ways it corresponds with the trajectory of your business from going to someone who was like when you first started out making things to eventually leaving your day job to pursue this full time. It seems like this fair has really encompasses all of that for you.
You are exactly right. Thank you for mentioning that and pointing that out. I actually meant to say that myself when you first asked me the question, but I went on a long trajectory there. Thank you for asking that. And you are so right. I actually am getting like touched just thinking about it, because it really did. I remember the first DIY street fair. I went with all my girlfriends and we walked down there, and we met up with our friends, and a handful of people kind of turned to me and were like, well, why aren't you set up at this thing? This is like something you should be doing. And I was like, come on, whatever. But it was that kind of nudge that really like pushed me in that direction and gave me the confidence to let me feel as though I could. And if there wasn't an event like that in my area, who knows how long or if at all I would have been able to pursue what I do now. So yes, had really huge influence, very much facilitated what I do today. Year after year, I would learn lesson after lesson and better know how to present at events like this and how to create a nice environment, what to make, what not to make, just, trying to become an outdoor fair expert over here. Let's see. And yeah, so I'm just really grateful. I hope it's something that can continue. I guess it makes me think of how you may want to ask me like how I got Kept started.
Yeah.
I mentioned my friends giving me like the inspiration and the nudge or two. Kept also started because I was an avid collector of vintage costume jewelry. And, sometimes jewelry breaks and I would be really handsy with it and fix it or tweak it to help it sell better. And it was experiences like that, along with events like DIY, where I had that hands-on experience of like really knowing what it takes to price, fix, create, and sell jewelry. And it's things like that that really helped me get to where I am.
So I'm going to add some things maybe to clarify for people who aren't familiar with you and your background. But as an astrologer, I'm going to point this out, which I just think is remarkable, that this whole Kept journey seems to correlate with the beginning of your Saturn return, which of course in astrology is our coming of age. So
Right.
You went from working at may I say?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Founder, you managed and I believe were a partner for a number of years, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, over 10 years, long time.
And then the switch, like the Saturn switch to you really went from doing that from someone else to really coming out and starting your own thing. And that was the transition with Kept, correct?
Yes. You're correct. I don't know if you can hear my dog, but she's growling out the window. Beta, hey, knock it off. Okay. So yeah, you were so right. It happened when I turned 30, like the gears started rolling. And by the time I was 32, 33, it really started to come into fruition. And I really started to be able bit by bit to kind of pull away from my full-time job to pursue my side gig and make that my full-time hustle. And it really, I was always so proud and felt mostly pretty confident and great about the work I did at Lost and Found. I was really grateful to, again, have that like just dive in hands-on experience with vintage and history and the jewelry. I mean, I was in heaven. I had all kinds of cool connections with sellers. And I mean, every day I saw something new. And I love that. But I will say that, like you pointed out, when I was able to transition, I was just so, I really felt like I had come into my own. And I didn't know that I was even missing out that much. But I am so grateful that I get to do what I do today, because I really do feel like it's an honest expression of who I am. And I feel really grateful to do that. I mean, every day of last year, which was the normal year.
Yeah.
And I was so busy. I mean, almost not a day went by that I couldn't believe that this is what I do. I constantly feel like, how am I getting away with this? This is too fun.
It's interesting going back about coming into your own. I just want to sort of interject here to say that you and I went to high school together. We've known each other for a long time. And I remember we were like 16 and you made what is still, I don't have it unfortunately. I might have you recreate it for me. One of my necklaces, it's like a leather choker.
Oh, cool.
Do you remember? You made that. I was like, it was my favorite thing.
I made you a leather, you went out for a second. Oh. Wait, say it again. Oh no, I'm losing your sound.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't. Now I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Now I can hear you. Okay.
Good.
Leather choker.
Yeah, with feathers on it.
Oh wow, that must have been when I was at the fashion design program at OTEC.
I think it was before that. You said you'd go, maybe, but you would go to your father's and tinker because your father is a leather maker.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
That's actually how I started. So sorry if I'm talking over you, but the sound is a little weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, my father has always been, I mean, that's a whole other interview probably, but he's always been an entrepreneur and very inspiring and supportive of me to, pursue my own interests like that, which has like been a huge influence in my life. But he, for years and years, he's done many different things, but for several of the past decades, he's worked with leather mainly. And so I've had access to his leather scraps. So yeah, from an early age, I've been inhaling the smell of leather and tinkering around playing with leather scraps. And when I started my first jewelry business years ago, I was really inspired by like the tassel trend, and I got to I made like the purse, tassels, and it was really nice to be able to facilitate that. And yeah, I know you still wear yours, and so yeah, I made like earrings and necklaces. I don't incorporate the leather as much because I've focused more on like wholesaling, blah 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 blah. But it's still something that like I always hold very dear. And unfortunately, that escaped my memory. But I love that you reminded me of that. That's so cute. I love feathers. Feathers used to play a huge part in my work too. But I would be more than happy to recreate that for you.
Thank you. Well, it makes it's such an honor to sit here and chat with you because I've seen you sort of the trajectory of when you were 15, 16, playing in your father's studio. And then it seems that those years where you were at Lost and Found so heavily informed what you're doing now, because I feel so much of your creation is vintage inspired. I mean, your own,
Yeah.
but
I have like goosebumps right now listening to you talk about it.
all those years. And then you came into your own and like,
I'm very fortunate I was exposed to so much because I got to experience the ins and outs of design, not only like for aesthetic purposes, but when you get to see countless pieces of vintage from all the decades like that, you really start to and not only just clothing, but accessories too, obviously, you really understand the value of design and construction and what lasts and what's timeless and what's a fad or a trend or things that will last forever or things that suit certain people and whatnot. So yeah, I'm lucky that I had that kind of influence and that I seem to fall into the right place at the right time.
and I mean, specifically, I know you did a lot of things there, but you were in charge of buying the costume jewelry, correct? That seems.
Yes, I was the main buyer. Yeah, for the costume jewelry. I mainly worked with Tommy Dorr, my old boss, and my partner Amanda Corey. Amanda has amazing sense of style, and she's also been a buyer there for many years. So she collaborated with that too. But I was mainly the person that did most of the jewelry buying. But the three of us all did the buying.
How do you think, what are, besides sort of vintage jewelry, what have been your biggest inspirations as a jewelry maker?
Actually, like graphic design and architecture, probably, I would say, oddly enough. One wouldn't necessarily correlate that right away. But I really do try to strive to create designs that are everlasting, timeless, and not too much of one thing, and easily like can be combined with different ensembles or worn every day, but also kind of like harken back to certain architectural trends and designs, and also just simple geometric patterns.
Do you have any sort of specific designer inspirations? It could be
That's always a question I'm terrible at answering.
Yeah.
I can't like stream off like names or words or eras right now because I'm a strange person. I don't focus on that. I like to keep an ever evolving, turning wheel of inspiration of minor details, so that I don't always get too focused into one thing. Sometimes I find that artists are overly critical on themselves because they like have these goals that they need to reach or like compare themselves to certain styles or other accomplished artists. And I hope this comes out the right way, but I like to just kind of, put my blinders on and just focus on what I know I would wear what my friends would wear and what I appreciate, and to have like certain qualities. So even though I'm constantly inspired and I can't stop shopping or reading books or, you know, watching film or documentaries on design, I mean, it's what I love to absorb myself in. I very much try to just focus on what's important to me at that moment, so that I don't get overwhelmed or disappoint myself if I don't like reach those goals, so that it's like just a constant evolution. And I think that, yeah, I'm repeating myself, but
I think like you're very much immersed. I think what you're saying is you're very much focused on creating things that add value to your life and the life of your friends. Like,
yes.
So
when someone buys something or they come back to me and they tell me how much something meant to them, you know, it feels real and genuine. And like, so I don't care if I'm a haute couture, you know, house or not. I just want to know that like I'm making things that like really leave an impression on people. And it's something they want to hold on to because they like have nostalgic connections with it, or it's just something that means a lot to them and makes them feel like they're really expressing themselves in a unique way.
And what I love sort of added to that, because you've had years of working with vintage costume jewelry, I feel like you have a real good understanding of things that aren't not only aesthetically pleasing, but things that hold up, which is what I love about your pieces.
Thank you for mentioning that. I wanted to incorporate that somehow. It's like you're reading my mind right now. You do. This is a really fun interview. Yeah, I wanted to mention that, but I wasn't sure how to sneak it in. You're right. That actually is more important to me than anything. The last thing I want to do is sell something that's just going to like not last long or fall apart in someone's hands. One of the things I love about whether it's vintage or not, just costume jewelry in general, and I always say this, like it should have like a certain weight in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I like things to have like to feel like it's substantial and it'll hold up to somewhere. It's strong and it has some weight to it, because when you pick up a piece of jewelry, you know, depending on what it is, and it feels like kind of flimsy or just like lightweight, like, you know, it's like, it's okay, but it feels like not so great. So I like things to have like a certain vibration and weight to it so that it like leaves an impression on you and it's something that you want to reach for every day.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about like maybe not completely related, but I love that I was so heartbroken. I had an earring of yours once that I lost and you replaced it. But like, it just, again, this idea, like I love your piece. You work with a lot of crystals and things like this that are very,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of really beautiful metals that aren't silver, but are very like hold up. I don't want to, what metals do you primarily work with?
I mostly work with raw brass.
Brass, okay.
I don't necessarily add patinas. I hammer the pieces occasionally, and assemble them together. I'd say a small portion of my work is with gold plated, like tiny charms and delicate chains and like initial necklaces. There's a portion of my work that suits, that kind of harkens to that style. But my heart and soul is probably really in the semi-precious stones that you mentioned, where I actually take a lot of inspiration from. I usually like pick a stone and work around from that. And the raw brass. I love brass because it has like this ancient vibe to it. I feel like it lasts forever. What's cool about brass, it's like an affordable version of gold. And depending on the design, more often than not, brass can always be brought back to its original luster.
Yeah.
You know, unlike something you buy from the mall or something that's gold plated or silver plated, once it's gone, and it's just like not nearly as cute. But brass, even if it gets patinaed, tarnished, spotted, anything, there's certain methods that you can use to bring it back to its original luster. So it's a really affordable investment and something that you can continue wearing. And just like I said, I I love that it's ancient quality. Sometimes I feel this, I'm laughing because it's going to sound silly, but I do take a lot of inspiration from ancient jewelry, but also sometimes I feel like the jewelry I make is like for another planet in the somewhat maybe not too distant future. I don't know. But I love that universal quality of brass and mixed with stones. It's like something people will always want to adorn themselves with, I think.
As you're talking, I have to just, I keep, your earrings to me are like upside down Neptune. I'm looking at
Oh yeah, they have like, yeah, they definitely have a what's his name? It's like a Zeus kind of vibe, like his I'm sorry. His what's it, like a scepter or what's the let you
the trident, right?
trident, thank you. I'm like, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and then as you're speaking, of course, I want to ask you about ritual, but I just feel, I know you're
Oh yeah.
big 10th house Leo sun. I feel that like costume is so much of your ritual.
Oh yeah. Even being stuck at home, big time. I mean, that's actually, I'll try not to go on too much. Well, that's one of my, being a Leo is a hard rap.
I love having you go on.
Okay. Leos get a bad rap, right? But one of my favorite things about being a Leo is our obsession with detail and tailoring, right? Like we don't walk out the house in some like haphazard, like ill-fitting costume. No, thank you. Like that's one of the reasons why I love sewing, because I don't even really care to like create a garment. I just want to know how to alter it, make it fit me like perfectly and just accent like, and that's how I feel about myself or anyone I'm putting together, letting walk out the door. So yeah, even working from home, I like to look, if I'm going to walk by a mirror, I don't want to be ashamed of myself. Right. So, I like to put in like special little efforts to feel like I'm comfortable, but put together. So yes, costume is a big deal. And for me too, I don't feel like myself unless I'm comfortable. So I'm very particular about my clothing because I want to feel comfortable in it. I try never to wear ill-fitting things because my confidence is what's really going to shine through my ensemble, not like whatever cool clothes I'm wearing. And I want to feel like I own it. So yeah, costume and dressing will forever be like a huge part of my life, like it or not.
Spoken like it. I love that we have that. I'm Leo rising and you're big Leo sun. I feel like it joins us. But do you mind? I'm sharing parts of your chart. I'm being so excited here.
Thank you.
Is your Venus in Virgo? I'm losing it right now.
Yeah.
I'm like you're like the tailored part. I'm like, that's your Venus in Virgo talking.
Yes. Specifics, actual details, all in the right order.
Yeah. Oof. What besides so sort of we went really big, right? But what are some of the daily rituals you use, like that you incorporate into your daily life to sort of keep you grounded? Because I mean, you are, as we mentioned, an entrepreneur. You keep yourself accountable and take care of yourself without overexhaustion and all these things. So yeah, what rituals do you have?
Yeah, I'm one of those people that manages to excel and do really well working for myself. Thankfully, for the most part, I think I'm pulling it off. I managed. I'm kind of like organized chaos type of person. I'm terrible at keeping an agenda. I write reminders on my phone. I rarely write anything down. I think it's all in my head somewhere. And it's because I try not to. And I think and that's not the. And it's I've tried to change. I haven't. I'm 37. I don't think I'm going to change anytime soon. I try to keep an agenda. I just never seem to commit. I know there's a lot of people out there like that, but I think it works for me because most importantly, I try to never overcommit. Yeah. I'm aware of what I can actually humanly possibly do. I mean, obviously we all say yes too often all the time, but it's something I think I'm good at. My point is that I manage to manage my time wisely and not overcommit and kind of know there's only so much I can do. However, before events like this weekend, or if DIY was happening, like I definitely go into the zone where like it's like you can't reach me. I'm making as much as I can. I'm eating is only what's necessary to sustain, so that I can just make. But to answer your question about daily rituals and what I do to maintain, I'm really lucky that I have a backyard. I can spend some time outside. I've got a nice place to sit out there. When the sun's out and the weather is accommodating, I like to just get out there and kind of sun myself and restart. I can't live without too much coffee, like everybody else. And when I do have the time to set aside, I'm fortunate enough. I've got 2 lovely little puppies in my life, and I just love. What makes me feel right and gets my body moving is just taking them out for long walks regularly. It's nothing really all that exceptional. my boyfriend calls it ambiance. There is a constant ambiance going in the house, whether it's like a diffuser or candles or like heating up oil. Like I'm constantly surrounding myself with scents and aromatherapy, which I'm sure you can appreciate. And that's really what creates, I try to create a clean, tidy house and like nice stimulants so that I feel like relaxed and comfortable and it's a place I want to be. And I also find that like keeping my studio as clean as possible would help. Unfortunately, I am me and not a Virgo, and my studio is not pristine at all. But I do try to keep, again, like I said, organized chaos. But the more in order it is, the better my ideas flow. And even that is still something I'm trying to perfect and learn, so that I have, again, a nice environment to exist in.
So if I can tease out 3 maybe tips of ritual advice for others that help you. The first one is that knowing your limits. So not overcommitting, being aware of your own limitations so you don't get frazzled. You will know
Exactly.
how to the second is time outdoors. Like yourself to
vitamin D.
Your work environment to go like let nature replenish you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And then number 3 is just like be aware of your surroundings, whether that's tidy workspace or, you know, being surrounded by things that look nice or smell nice, just the ambiance. So I think those are the 3.
Yes.
And since this is Art of the Zodiac, do you at all incorporate, like, how do you incorporate astrology into your life? I know it's
I use it pretty practically. It's something that I've been able to familiarize myself with over the last several years. And, you know, as I transitioned into my 30s and beyond, and I think kind of got a better sense of myself, it allowed me, I think, to have a better understanding of other signs. So then when I, you know, perhaps had a moment with someone when I didn't quite understand their perspective or how they were processing something, knowing their sign better really helped me understand them better. I feel like it's a window or a door into someone's psyche, so that you can you're equipped and you have the tools to better understand them. And honestly, I feel like it allows me to be a better friend and partner and you know, daughter or sister or girlfriend, you know. And because, you know, if we could all just like learn how to listen a little better and compromise and accommodate people's needs and maybe sometimes know what they need before they do, you know, that it can go on. And obviously I'm not like, you know, I don't always reach those goals, but in my adult life, I've found that it's really helped me to better understand people because, you know, I'm a busybody, crazy Leo. I got a lot going on and I'm really intense, and sometimes I'm a lot for someone to be around. And so I try to like, I try to, you know, diffuse that a little bit, and so that I can kind of open myself up and my senses to people around me and what they're experiencing. And I try to tone down the intensity. So on a daily basis or in my relationships, that's how I use astrology. And then in regards to my work, I love selling zodiac signs, necklaces, and just like getting to chat with people about that. And that's, again, another way for me to interact with the public and kind of see people based on different signs and their reactions, and see them interact with their friends and laugh, you know. And a lot of people like buying them for gifts. So, I mean, there's like endless opportunities to interact with people in that sense. And then the one thing I think I mentioned the last time we talked about this was the certain signs that sell out first, like Scorpios I can't keep in stock. They love buying it for themselves.
And I have a feeling that people have Scorpio envy. I'm sorry, I got so excited you showed.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm gonna buy the Scorpio.
Oh, totally. Like that in the Sag. They're like so Scorpio always sells out, and all the fire signs.
I was like, how's Aries sell?
Oh yeah. Because Aries are like, where's mine? I'm waiting. They're like, chop. Virgos sell a lot too. And then I saw myself at Lost and Found, and there was a Taurian young lady who just was like so disappointed that like I wasn't coming up with the Tauruses faster. So they have standards. And you need
And
to abide by them.
stubborn. She's gonna wait all day.
Yeah, yeah, stubborn.
Won't counter.
She did, yeah. But finally I pulled through, and I don't know what the delay was, but I finally provided, so I came through, fortunately. So yeah, and it's that never gets old. That's never a dull moment with that. And I love making ZODIAC different styles for people. And I'll have some available this weekend actually that I've been working on.
Oh, I am so excited. I'm waiting for my giant red Mars pendant from you.
Yes, yes.
There.
We've got that set aside for you.
Because I'm giving Astro Chats
Mm-hmm.
a little self-promotion here.
It
Bond's backyard.
was a huge success. People loved it.
It was fun. You brought you had a crystal ball waiting for me. Like, wow.
I just felt necessary. It was already there, and I just thought, how nice.
It was wonderful. What questions am I forgetting to ask?
I know I wanted to review before I sat down, but I don't even remember where they are. Yeah.
I'm crying.
I think that's it. Yeah, because you mentioned rituals, and I mention? I feel like I touched on like
Did my question?
what's that? I'm sorry.
I was like, "What'd you have for breakfast?"
Oh, what did I have for breakfast?
Breakfast. This is very important.
Okay, so sometimes it's like just coffee until like 1:30, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't eat. And I wish I was like the type of gal that's like, oh, all I do is smoothie in the morning. Like I go through bouts like that, but it's not me right now.
Yeah.
Yogurt and granola, great. I just can't always bring myself to do that. So when I actually need a real meal, I'm an eggs protein kind of person.
Oh yeah.
I love just scrambling up some eggs real quick, spinach, maybe a little goat cheese, English muffin. I'm good to go. It's not the healthiest breakfast, but I'm real avid for protein.
Mm-hmm.
I tried being a vegetarian for 10 plus years, and I don't know if I was the happiest version of myself. And I find that protein is the best, and eggs make me super happy. And like on the go, hard boiled egg and like an apple. And I've been trying to incorporate grapefruit every day, morning and lunch.
I was gonna be a real weirdo and ask for your blood type. I'm like,
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, no. My dad and I both really believe in that.
Oh, that's you, by the way. I think.
I'm sorry?
Are you beeping or am I beeping? Someone else has a phone.
It was me. I'm sorry. I should have muted before we did this.
Your father, blood type?
Yes, my dad, who's just the coolest guy. I'm so lucky he's into like the mystic and we can talk for hours. But he's really a firm believer in and a lot of people will scoff and laugh at it, but the blood type diet. Because when I was a vegetarian, because we're the three of us, my father, my brother, and I we're all O. Actually, Anthony might not be, but we're O positive.
Okay.
So we're like cavemen, basically.
Too.
The ridge blood, and so protein is what works for us. And my dad was always trying to coax me in that direction of like literally this is just a garbage phone call from Westerville, Ohio. No, I don't want it. Sorry. I'm touching my laptop like it will
Take it now alive.
Just, you know what? Here, I'm sorry, guys. I finally silenced that. Literally, my phone never does anything, so this is just because I'm...
Lift up, I'm snapping like you're here. Lift up your hands. I just saw these rings.
Oh, yeah. We're ring sisters, girl.
I'm kind of light today, but those are great.
It's like one hand super heavy. I love your ring collection. Mine is pretty cool. I'm looking at my reflection. I think these are all from Lost and Found.
So good.
I've been lucky enough to go to Tucson typically in February for the gem show, and I've found some goodies there. But these are both turquoise. I don't know exactly what type. I'm not very good at that. But this is a really beautiful blister. I believe this is called like a blister opal. They say you shouldn't, I was born in July, not October. Opal is the birthstone of October. And they say you shouldn't wear opal unless it's your birthstone.
I'm going to argue that. I don't have a clear
I'm
argument.
wearing it and I'm still alive. What was I talking? Oh, positive. So yeah. Yeah. What do you feel that correlates with like astrology at all, or I was just curious why you asked?
I really think about food when I'm not thinking about astrology, and
Yeah.
I'm going to probably upset some people here right now, but I feel that I need protein, and
Yes.
sometimes I do need some sort of animal protein. Again,
Yeah.
unabashedly going to make some people angry. I'm primarily plant-based. I know this is not an interview about our diet choices, but
Mm-hmm.
you brought it up, and I was like,
Yeah.
one time.
I am right there with you. I hope that, well, we both love cooking and we're both very passionate about it. And I think we both believe that you are what you eat. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we, talking about daily rituals, like we make the efforts to like make some quality food for ourselves. And my point is I'm halfway there, but maybe at some point in my life I'll rediscover like the path of more plant-based diet. But for now, I know what works for me, keeps me going, it makes me happy, and what I enjoy preparing and sharing with friends and family too. I love cooking for people.
You made a really good salad, and
Yeah, that was my go-to.
I
It's
was
so
like,
good.
dressing is spectacular.
Thank you. That was fun. We should do that again soon.
We will, and this has been great. Thank you. I know before we trail off, and I could literally
Yeah.
for we've figured out we've been friends for like 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
We could go on about random things for very long periods of time.
Easily. There's
Another,
always lots to talk about.
this was so much fun, and
Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. We both remember to record this time.
Yes.
Well,
And you were patient enough to let me download and show up, and I pulled off Zoom, so thanks.
new world to you. Lovely. I will see you on. Let's recap. I will see you on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Art Fair.
That's right.
You kept on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. And
Yeah, I just made a post today. I tagged everybody. I'll be making another post tomorrow, and I'll be posting a map. And if they want to, I'll be posting a map with my address on it if people want to find us. But it's in Oak Park, Michigan, just outside of Ferndale. And if you'd like to contact Courtney and I to get the address, please feel free to. But I'll be posting a map soon.
And I will be there doing Astro Chats while you sell your jewelry with all the other lovely makers.
Yes.
So.
Okay. Thank you, Courtney. Bye.